Hey, it's Les from the TV Dudes. This year at the ATX Television Festival, I was thrilled to sit in on a roundtable interview with the minds behind AMC's Immortal universe. I talked with Rolin Jones, John Lee Hancock, Mark Johnson, and Mark Lafferty about Interview with the Vampire, Mayfair Witches, and the upcoming Talamasca series. We got into everything from crafting Lestat's rock songs to John Lee Hancock's reflections on working with Clint Eastwood, and why this team is the perfect fit to bring Talamasca to life. It's a fun interview, and I hope you enjoy.
My name's Les Weiler from the TV Dudes. I'm curious. Interview with the Vampire is amazing. These were books I got to share with my mom. She specifically wanted me to thank all of y'all for Mark and Rolly for doing such a great job. She's thrilled. So keep it up, guys. You're making my life better. Sorry. To my question, Interview and Mayfair have books that obviously you get to follow. You get to keep it right. When it came to doing Talamasca, were there hard rules or things that you got nervous about or wanted to make sure that you kept it different, but when I watch it as a fan, I know it's part of the world. Were there things that you were sure, yes, no, we can't do?
I'm going to let them answer.
God, I hope so. I hope that people who have read the books and know about the Talamasca through the different threads. It's been in the books. I hope that it feels real, even though it's not really expounded upon that much. And there are really memorable characters that are Talamasca agents and things like that. But I think we just took it and kind of said, what if? What is it exactly? It's not completely clearly defined. And so let's see if we can go this direction. And hopefully fans of Anne Rice will look at it and go, that kind of makes sense, but it's bigger than I thought and wilder than I thought. And also, I don't know, I kind of felt that they were a little bit, goody two-shoes is the wrong word, but it was just like the whole, like, we watch them, we're always there. And you go, that's fantastic. But what do they do if they see something going wrong? And, those kind of questions. So Mark and I talked a lot about that and said I kind of prefer to look at them as the CIA or MI6. It's like they have an important job, but they're not afraid to get their hands dirty. And because of that, it's a world, because of the espionage and stuff that we were kind of trying to examine with Le Carre, it was, everybody telling half-truths. And so you're living in a world of liars and with a difficult job.
Which makes it, like, in terms of how Talamasca is portrayed in the books, I think that gave us a little bit of a permission slip to be like, well, you don't know the whole truth. You're gonna slowly see the truth unfurl as you wend your way with our main character into this world. But in terms of making sure we were in the bounds of the rest of the Anne Rice books and the whole universe, we did have the benefit of, like, Rolin was on our floor. He happened to have, he was getting into his season 3 writer's room when we were in the middle of ours. So every now and then we'd be like, hey, does this check out? Like, what is this? Is this okay? And Tom Williams, who works closely with Mark and is one of our EPs, he kind of has the house knowledge of everything. Every now and then we would just say, like, hey, we're doing this with a vampire. Is this like up to snuff? So we always had a little bit of a backstop from people who were making sure that we were coloring too far outside the lines.
Yeah, no, there clearly are, if it's not we, there clearly are the Anne Rice beliefs, and that you can stray only so far and something's going to blow up in your face. But the beauty of Talamasca is there really are very few specific characters you have to worry about being faithful to. So these guys had a lot of room to invent in a way that Rolin didn't with Interview.
Yeah, but that's the cool part about that, is like building this whole thing, is that every year you get deeper and deeper. It's slowly becoming a TV show like lore and TV show world. Like, we're beginning to own it, and it's not that doesn't mean it progresses to a place where Anne doesn't exist in it. It just means in a weird way, if she had 18 novels, we're beginning to build 19, 20, 21, 22 as we add onto that stuff. So you can be loyal and still go forward.
As soon as you mentioned that song, so that you had a pocket full of Lestat songs at the panel, I was immediately intrigued. I assume you're probably not going to bust it out and play them for us, but do those songs have titles, and do you have a favorite?
They do have titles. Do I have a favorite right now? No, I don't. I am astonished by how many some are going to work really well in context. Some are just absolutely fucking killer songs. If you had no idea about what this was, you'd be like, what the fuck is that? That is unbelievable. What is going on there? Music, like lyrically really sophisticated, and the melodic gifts of Daniel. You hear it, you go back and listen to the scores that are there, but it's really hard to write a 3-minute indestructible song. And there are a lot of moves that he's making in all this because of the nature of his journey too. It's not like he's building Rubber Soul. It's like he's building Help, Rubber Soul, moving into Abbey Road, even though it's not going to be Beatlesque. Don't get that wrong. It's just about you think about a band's trajectory over that. That's what if you're signing up for a band with Lestat, you have to do that in 6 months. I got to keep up with him like that. So no, but a lot of times the favorite one is the one I'm working with right now. So I'm in that phase right now.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
We've all been to the panel and we've all been sitting here and heard John Lee and Mark talk about Talamasca, and I feel confident in them. But Mark, to your position, what was the first moment where you thought, I can trust these guys with this? And well, did you have a moment when you thought, okay, this sister show is in good hands?
Perfect. Well, fucking get that script away. That's honestly.
I was living here when we did Alamo. Yeah.
I probably haven't even said this to you. Writers of my generation. That's one of the 20 scripts you talk about. When you get drunk at a bar and you're talking about this place. Sometimes there are these little off to the left, to the right. That is a movie that everybody always talks about in terms of the script. So he came in to come be a TV hack. My God, please get out of the way. Let it happen.
It's all downhill from there.
TV hack.
John and I have known each other a long time. I produced the first script of Years to Get Made, which was a Perfect World that Clint Eastwood directed here in Austin. And we've done a number of things, most recently The Little Things with Denzel Washington, which was 4 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. And I called him, and I don't even know why I thought it would be right for it, but I just thought we wanted to do something. We wanted another Anne Rice show. We thought the Talamasca was great. It would just we watched and we were always there. That's enough. And so I called John, and I think he pretty much said, did you misdial? Did you mean to get one of your other writer friends or whatever? And I talked him through it, and we sent you some, not a specific book, but some chapters from various books about the Talamasca. And then John came back and he said, well, I think I have a way to do it. Let me just think about it, and maybe no one will go for it. But what do we do a sort of spy novel, almost a John Le Carre through Anne Rice? And at that point, I said, oh, we're in great shape. And I've known Mark for a while, and always wanted to work with him. We worked on a couple of things, but just wanted to put something that we were going to put into production, right? And I knew that the two of them would get along perfectly. So I just set up was it a lunch or a drink or something, and that was it. It was off to the races. I went to St. Thomas after that. Just hung out, let them do the work.
And I had kind of crazy ideas going in all different directions, just because why not? And then talking to Mark, and I go, oh, he kind of thinks they're good ideas, some of them. So maybe we're not that far. And then he's the true MVP secret weapon, because he could help me, and we would talk and partnered up on kind of codifying these things thematically and how they could work. I was just blasting away with writing characters just because,
But just to echo Rolin, when Mark called me and said, "Do you know who John Lee Hancock is?" and I said, "Perfect World." Like and he's right. That movie for me was one of the movies when I was a young wannabe filmmaker. I was like, well, I want to do that. Like, that's cool. And so, and John's writing is just so phenomenal.
That always beats. It's Unforgiven, and that it just always back to back for some reason. I'm not sure why we get into that, but every time I've had that conversation with another writer, it's always Perfect World, and then very quickly after that, Unforgiven script comes up for some reason.
Absolutely, yes.
They were one after the other. I mean, when you remember, we went in to see Clint, and we were talking about it, and he said he goes, the script, he loved the script, and he even brought up Flannery O'Connor, and he also brought it because it reminds me of a movie that nobody saw called Lonely Are the Brave, and I said, one of my favorite movies, Kirk Douglas. And we walked out of there, and we said, God, he seems to get it. And Mark said, he's got a Western coming out that people say is pretty good. And so it was Unforgiven. And
how about that? Walking into a room and Clint Eastwood starts talking about Flannery O'Connor and you in the same place.
How about walking in the room with the other guy?
Oh my God! Well, when you get calls from Clint, it's not like Mr. Eastwood's on the other line. Can you talk to me? It's like you pick up the phone, and this is before you had these things. Pick up the phone, and he goes, John, it's Clint. You know, that's how you conversed with him. And so the one time I got a call early on in the process, and he said, John, it's Clint. He goes, what are you doing Saturday? And I said, you tell me. And he said, I wanted you to meet an actor. And I said, okay. Now I'm dying to go, who is it? Who are we meeting? Because he was talking about A Perfect World and casting at the time. And I said, okay, great. Damn it, I want to know. But anyway, so Saturday comes, and the meeting's going to be at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. And I had been to Warner Brothers a few times, but you'd always come in different gates. And so on Saturdays, this day, you came in that different gate than I was used to. I was lost. I couldn't find El Paso. I was racing around. There was no one on the lot. So I'm always early. But this particular day, I'm looking, and it's 9 a.m., and I go, oh my God, I'm going to be late for my meeting with Clint and whoever this actor is. I get there at about 10 after 9. I'm thinking to myself, I'm sweating profusely because I'm running. And I'm thinking, when I get there, they're not going to it'll be fine. It's Hollywood. Everybody's late, right? I walk in, and there they are. There is Clint and the biggest movie star in the world at that time, Kevin Costner, sitting on the couch together, just the two of them. And I looked at them, and I just went, and I'm sweating, and I'm breathing heavy. And then I pulled out a line from my dad used to always say, I said, if this isn't $1 waiting at a dime, I don't know what is. and they broke the ice, and we laughed about it. And then Mike Judge came to me in Austin years later, and he goes, oh, I owe you an apology. I go, what? He goes, I stole your line and gave it to Hank Hill. And I go, that's the highest praise ever. You get it?
That guy spilled some red wine on my couch one day at a party or whatever. It didn't just ran out or whatever.
My judge.
I was so excited too. The guy wrote Beavis and Butthead. I'm like, oh my God, it's Beavis and Butthead. Spilled some wine. Fucking wiped off like that.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
TV Dudes is an independently run podcast out of Austin, Texas. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/TVDudes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is done by our friend and original TV Dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith.
To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com. I'm Randy Lander.
I'm Les Weiler.
And I'm Kyle Scott.
Thanks for listening.